Welcome to the Weekly Leadership Experience, a place for leaders to get inspired, be challenged, and grow. I am your host, Reshad Oberlander. Let's get started. Today's episode of the Weekly Leadership Experience is brought to you by my 7-day Leadership Growth Challenge. It's a free challenge that I've created, and it's delivered by email over the course of 7 days. I've created 7 compelling questions to challenge various aspects of your leadership, the way you lead, and why you lead. Go to ReshadOberlander.com and scroll down until you find the 7-day Leadership Challenge, or look for the link in the show notes. And now, on with the show. Well, hello leaders, and welcome to this week's show. I'm so glad you're tuning in today. Thank you for joining me once again to listen to the Weekly Leadership Experience. Before we get started today, I would like to mention that we will be taking a break from the show for the next few weeks. We will be returning on September the 6th with a brand new episode. And this time is just going to be a great opportunity for some downtime, to rest, relax, refocus, a little bit of time to just focus on things at home and take a break from some of the work associated with producing the podcast. There is quite a lot of work, and it's an opportunity to enjoy the summer here and to spend time with family and just to enjoy a little bit of downtime. So bear with me while we take a break, and I will see you back here on September the 6th for a brand new episode. Now let's get on with the show, and today's subject is Choose Your Own Adventure. When I was young, I had a bunch of these Choose Your Own Adventure books. Have you ever read one? You might know what I'm talking about. And you'd read the book, and you get to a point in the book where the person in the book was facing a choice, or there was a kind of a choice, choose this path or choose that path, or do this or do that. And so you would choose a path, and the book would kind of take you on alternative journeys depending on the choices you made as you read the book. Now, my problem was that I always had a hard time kind of sticking to a choice. I'd want to flip ahead before making the choice and check out what was going to happen before I committed to one path or another. So I didn't always stick to the choose your own adventure model, but I kind of would pick which ending I liked better and go that way. These kind of books can be fun because you get some degree of control and variability in the outcome, and you kind of have some kind of fun with it that way. But you contrast the Choose Your Own Adventure book with a regular book where the author would skillfully take you on a journey of discovery, and the ending is basically known because the author has written the ending of the book, right? Or if it's a series of books, it leads into the next book. But the author takes you on this journey where you develop a relationship with the characters, and you kind of your emotions rise and fall with the tempo of the book and kind of the goings on, and sometimes you experience that moment of absolute heartbreak because a favorite character is eliminated from the story, or something happens that really just tears at you, and there's this skillful journey that the author is taking you on. And it's quite a contrast where you can have much more variability in a choose your own adventure style of story versus something that is written with a sequence from beginning to end that has been predetermined by the author. But I'm talking about this in the scheme of illustrating our approach to leadership development. And our approach to leadership development can often be more like the Choose Your Own Adventure versus a guided journey. And what I mean is that, suddenly we find ourselves, our business needs a new manager or a new leader. Someone's left the business, been, whatever the circumstances are, there's a vacancy that needs to be filled. So, we go through the motions of looking for someone to fulfill that role. And, oftentimes we might end up promoting or recruiting someone in who appears to have the right things that we're looking for. And we promote maybe we promote the best salesperson or the best mechanic or the best whatever to be the new manager or leader of the team. So then we tell them, this is your team. Here's a key to the building. Go get them, Tiger. Best of luck. Then we come back, 3, 6, 12 months later, and we wonder why there's issues, there's problems, and performance is down. We say things like, man, I don't get it. Like, they were such a good salesperson. They were such a good mechanic. Or a thing, whatever the thing was. They still are. They haven't lost the ability to be a good whatever they were before. We've just placed new demands on them and abandoned them to, the wiles in the environment, right? And we haven't helped them grow their leadership muscles. We've suddenly expected leadership behavior from someone who's never had that expectation before. And we haven't helped them discover it. So we've left them to their own adventure instead of guiding them on the journey. Now picture being dropped off somewhere in the backcountry. I'm talking like backwoods. There's nothing around. There's no civilization nearby. Like, you're miles out into the middle of nowhere, and you get dropped off with some basic supplies, a topographic map, and a compass. And you're told to find your way back to camp. Do you know where camp is, number one? Do you know how to use your compass to find north and versus true north? Do you know what magnetic declination is? Do you know how to orient your map to the landscape? Do you know how to move the map based on the direction you're facing? Do you understand the scale of the map? What is the distance that you're looking at on the map? Do you understand how to look at, the topographic lines to determine elevation and how steep the terrain might be? Do you know how to look at the map for obstacles and dangers and things that might be getting in your way? Even if you know where you're going, do you understand how to look at that map and use the compass to navigate your way back to a destination or to a destination that you are heading towards? Do you know how to maintain direction using a compass and landmarks and things like that to make sure that you stay on course? What is your chance of success in a situation like that, of making it back to camp in one piece? I mean, you might get there. There's lots of great stories of survival out there where people have overcome incredibly difficult odds and come back. But, those stories can be quite harrowing. There's a lot of danger, a lot of risk. And make no mistake, people have, not made it in extreme circumstances like that. So with that in mind, picture now being shown how to use the equipment, being taught what all these factors mean that I've just mentioned, all the questions that I've just posed. Like, if you knew all the answers to those questions, how much greater would your success chance be? And also, if you then had someone available to help you along the way, someone who is familiar with all the equipment, someone who's familiar with how to do all these things and navigate in the backcountry, do you think that your chance of success would be that much higher, and that you would have a much greater chance of getting back to your destination in good health? So that, I think, illustrates the idea of choose your own adventure versus having a guided journey. And I think that it's important to think of this in these ways because, again, oftentimes we're having expectations of people being able to learn and grow as a leader, but we don't offer them the guidance along the way to actually be successful and to actually grow and develop and be able to utilize all these skills that we're asking them to be able to do. So whether you're in charge of your own development or that of others, you'll get much better results making leadership development a guided journey versus a choose your own adventure. Now, some of the things that I think that are important, a few key things to keep in mind if you're wondering where to get started. If it's for your own development, make no mistake, sometimes you have to take charge of your own development. You can't leave it up to the will of other people. Sometimes you do have to choose your adventure, and there's nothing wrong with being able to make a choice and choose a path. Again, you're going to get better results with some guidance than just, kind of aiming in a direction and hoping you hit it. So first of all, you could certainly find out what your organization has to offer. They might have some programs or some resources that you can leverage to be able to work on your own leadership development, but be prepared for the fact that your organization may not have anything available to help you. And if they don't have anything available to help, then, perhaps you need to ask for it and work with, your leader or manager to develop something that would help you grow as a leader. Bring suggestions, bring ideas, bring, the plan that you have to be able to help that happen. Something else you can do is identify your personal opportunities for growth. You can do that through, taking feedback from your team members, from your supervisors. You can find out opportunities for growth by taking, different personality tests or different aptitude tests and find out what are some of the opportunities that you have. Maybe it's, having difficult conversations or conflict resolution or, team performance or different things like that, presentation skills. There's all kinds of different things that you could find out that are opportunities for you. And then you can kind of work on some of those things that are important for your leadership development. But you need to learn to use the equipment, right? So you need to actually identify what are the things in your toolbox and how do you use them. And then I do highly recommend getting a guide, right? Whether that's someone that's an internal or an external coach, whether it's a mentor, whether it's someone, not necessarily your direct supervisor, but someone who's in a position where they've gone before you and they've experienced some of the things that you're experiencing, but they can provide you with some guidance on your journey, and they can provide you with some feedback, and they can say, hey, listen, I think that, this idea that you have is a great idea, but let's work on this over here. This would give you much better results. And they can provide you with some of that feedback that sometimes we become blind to our own shortcomings, and it helps to have that external set of eyes just to bring us back on track. If you're responsible for developing others, a couple things that I think are important are that you have a plan. Don't wait until the need arises to promote someone and you make a knee-jerk reaction because suddenly there's a vacancy that you need to fill. Plan for succession, plan for the growing needs of the business, plan for the leadership development needs of the business. Just have a plan, have some intention and some thought behind it rather than this just automatic knee-jerk thing when all of a sudden there's a need, so you fill the need, right? It's just putting Band-Aids on a wound that's not going to heal by itself. Make your plan suit the individual. It's good to have an overarching plan of how you want to develop leaders, but not everyone develops or learns the same. So you need to be able to adapt the situation to suit the needs of the person so that you can help them, navigate that journey the best way that is for them. Finally, if you're responsible for developing others, be a great guide. And if you can't be a great guide, supply one. Set them up with a mentor, set them up with a coach, whether that's internal or external, but provide that guidance, provide that person that can be there to help answer difficult questions or talk about the journey or share their experiences. Like it's an invaluable opportunity for someone to help someone else on a journey of leadership. And it's incredibly a rewarding experience, and it is so crucial. It is the difference between possible failure, possible, burnout, like a number of different things, even just not, like you might get there, might take too long, might take a long time. So many opportunities to have a guide that helps navigate that journey and increases chances of success. So the key message here, I think, in this little episode today is that having a guide is one of the most important things to leadership development, and it can't be just a choose your own adventure. We need a guided journey. We need to think about how we're developing our people, and it needs to be something that is able to be experienced as a guided adventure, not something that's left to chance and choice. So, thank you for listening today. Think about how you're developing yourself. Think about how you're developing other people. I look forward to speaking with you again on September the 6th when we're back from a short break. Brand new episode, brand new content. Look forward to speaking with you then. In the meantime, stay awesome.
If you've enjoyed what you've heard today, would you head over to Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts and subscribe, leave me a rating, leave me a review, and share this with a friend. It spreads the word and helps the podcast grow. You can also find me on social media at R.E. Oberlander. Until next time, stay awesome.